To make this beautiful bodysuit, you'll be needing at least a yard of fabric. You get. First of all, we are going to draft out the pattern for this tutorial. You get. So go ahead and fold your pattern paper by 2, just like you see me did. Place your tape. I'm cutting off shoulder. Do you get? So I'm going to place my tape at 6 inches. Do you get? So from there I am going to go ahead and mark 8 inches. Can you see? Then after doing that, I'll come down by 9.5 inches. After marking my 9.5 inches, I'm going to come down by 16 inches. Then after that, I'm going to use my ruler to extend this line just like you see me doing. So after extending, I'll label it as the chest line. This is the bust point and the waistline. Do you get? Then after I was done doing this on the waistline, I'm going to place my tape and I'll mark my crotch. So mark your crotch for your trouser. That is what I mean. Do you get? So for me, I am coming down by 8.5 inches for my crotch. So I'll just go ahead and extend this line like this. After extending, I'll label it as the crotch. Do you get? After I was done doing this, place your tape from the waistline to your crotch line and divide it by 2. Whatever you have, divide it by 2, then mark half of it. Here, you're going to extend the line like this. Then after doing this, I will label it as the hip line. Do you get? Then after I was done doing this, next thing I'll just go ahead and do right now is to divide my nipple to nipple by 2. Mine is always 7 inches, divided by 2 is 3.5. So I'll just go ahead and mark my 3.5. I'll make a point like this, and after that I'll use my ruler to extend this line. So this body suit I'm cutting right now, it's going to have that. It's going to form like a cupboard. There won't be any breast pad or any foam. You get? So at the both side, I came out by 1 inch and I drew a straight line down to this crotch line. Do you understand? Then after I was done doing this, just look at the next thing I'll go ahead and do. So what I'll go ahead and do right now is to place my tape. Do you get? I'll come down by 1 inch on the bust point. Can you see? Then I'll extend the line from the top. Do you get? Then after I was done doing this, I will place my tape at the 6 inches off shoulder and I'll mark 12.5 inches. This is going to serve as my under bust line. Do you get? So I'll just extend the line and I'll label it as the UP. UP is under bust. Do you get? So I have the chest line, the bust point, under bust, waistline, hip line, and the crotch. Do you get? Then after I was done doing this, just remember I came down by 1 inch on the bust point. Then I'll make my curve to meet this 1 inch I came down from. Do you get? So I'll place my ruler and I'll just connect this point just like you see me doing. Connect it as if you are making a bust here. Connect it very well just like you see me doing. Then after I was done doing this, what I'll do next is to come up at the chest line. I'll come up at the chest line and I'm going to subtract half of an inch on the both side. Do you get? I just want to add that. It's not a must you do just like this. It's not a must you add that. You can decide not to add that. Do you get? So for me, I decided to add that. Then after I was done doing this, what I'll do is to come down on the crotch line. I'll just come down by 2 inches. Place your tape from the crotch line, come down by 2 inches. Do you get? Then after I was done marking on the folded part, that is the center front, I'm just going to go ahead and come in by 1.5 inches. This 1.5 inches I marked just now is on fold, so when I open it, it's going to give me 3 inches. Do you get? So this area I marked 1.5 just now is the area that's going to go in between my labs. Do you get? The area you're going to insert your pressing button. Do you get? So after I was done marking, as you can see that I'm dividing my bust circumference, waist circumference by 4, and I'm replacing the darts that I already have here. Do you get? So for this pattern paper, I won't be adding any seam allowance. Do you get? So I'll be adding the seam allowance on the main fabric. So right here, I'll just go ahead and connect these lines. Do you understand? So after dividing the waist, connecting them just like this, I will go ahead and connect the one I have at the hip. Do you get? I already divided my hip by 4. Do you understand? Replacing it with this darts here, 1 inch on the both side, replacing it with 2 inches. So from there, I'm going to make this curve to meet the hip line. So this is like a pint curve. Go ahead and curve yours like this. Then after curving it like this, this is all for the front. What I will do now is to go ahead and cut it off. After cutting, I'll go ahead and place it on another paper and I'll cut out the back. After I was done cutting, I noticed that the center front is longer than the side front. Do you get? So what I'm going to do right now is to go ahead, use my marker and make a curve like this. So it's going to be on equal length when I'll start joining. Do you understand? So go ahead and do yours like that. Definitely it's going to give you something like this. Then when it gives you something like this, just go ahead and curve it, then trim it out. Right now guys, I'm done cutting. This is what I have. Do you get? So the next thing I will do is to go ahead and make the sweetheart neckline, and I just made my sweetheart neckline. So go ahead and cut it off when you are through. Then you can decide to make your round neckline or leave it straight like that. Anyhow you choose to, it's fine. So guys, for the back, as you can see that I'm using just one piece of paper here. It's not on fold, so when you're making yours, make sure it's on fold, or if you're transferring it to the actual fabric, just make sure it's on fold. You get? So right now I'm marking the bust point, under bust point and the waistline, and I will go ahead and extend those lines with my ruler just like this. Then after extending those lines, I'll also go ahead and label it. So the first line, like I said before, was the bust point, second line under bust point and the waistline. So guys, after I was done labeling, what I'll do is to still place my tape from the waistline. I'll come down by my 8.5 inches for my crotch, just like I did in the front pattern. Do you get? So I will label it as the crotch, and I also place my tape again. I'll divide what I have there by 2, just like we did earlier, and I'll just make a point there, and I extend it with my ruler like this. I'll also go ahead and label it the hip line. Then after I was done doing this, remember that on the front pattern, when we are drafting the front, I came down by 2 inches here, but for this back pattern I am going to go ahead and come down by 7 inches. You can as well come down by 8 inches if you're a bigger size. Do you get? So this 7 inches, reason why I came down by this 7 inches because of our bum. You get? So by the time you pin it down with your pressing button, the bum will take some, and you get? So just like it is when drafting a trouser. Yes, that's how this one is. Do you get? You know, the back of trouser and the front is not always the same. The back is always bigger. So that's how it is when drafting or making a bodysuit. Right now, mark my zipper allowance like this, 1 inch, and from this bottom, I labeled the 7 inches as the bottom. Do you get? So from this bottom, I came in by 1.5 inches. So right now I'm going to go ahead and divide the bust circumference, the waist circumference and the hip circumference by 4. I'm not adding any stitching allowance yet. So after I was done making this, I'm just going to go ahead and make my curve. So I will connect it starting from the 1.5 inches I came in from the bottom, the line bottom. So go ahead and just look at what I'm doing so you understand everything. Now you can see that the back is very much longer than the front, and I already explained my reason why it's like this. Do you understand? So just go ahead and cut it off. Then after cutting it off, I'll be right back. So guys, these are the front and the back piece. As you can see, I've gone ahead to label it the front and I label the back as the back. So right here, I will go ahead and transfer this to the actual fabric. I'm using Isiago fabric for this tutorial. Do you get? And like I said before, it's 1 yard, so 1 yard will be very enough for you to make this bodysuit. Do you get? So I'll just go ahead and transfer it to the fabric, and I'll also go ahead and give it half of an inch all the way around. On the neckline, I'll give it half of an inch. On the side, I'll also give it half of an inch. So I'm done cutting the center front, and for the side front, just look at what I'm going to do. I will start adding my stitching allowance. I'll start adding my seam allowance of 1.5 inches. So on the down part, I'll add only half inch. On the side, I'll add 1.5 inches for the seam allowance, and at the top, I'll add half of an inch for the stitching allowance, and I'll do the same thing at the center, at the side front. Do you get? So I'll repeat the same thing at the back. Just go ahead and do yours like this. Remember, it's only the side you're going to add any seam allowance. Then for the down part at the upper part, go ahead and add your half inch for your stitching allowance. After cutting, the next thing I'll go ahead and do is to place the center front on top of the side front. So I'm just going to place it. This is just like I'm covering up the darts. Do you get? So I will place it and I'll divide my bust circumference by 4, and I marked whatever I got. After marking, what I'll do is to place my tape from the 6 inches off shoulder. I place it and I'll come down by 8 inches. I'll go ahead and make my curve for the armhole, and after doing that, I'll use my scissors to cut it off. After doing this, I'll do the same thing for the back. Do you get? So place your front on top of your back, then cut it off just like you see me did. So this is the 3 piece I have here, both the front and the back. Do you get? So the next thing I'll just go ahead and do now is to start sewing. Do you get? So for the sewing, I'll just start from the front piece only for now. Then I'll just place the side front on top of the center front. I'll go ahead and start pinning it down. After I was done pinning, I'll just go ahead and sew this with half of an inch. We do the same thing for the other side, and I'll be right back. I've gone ahead to sew this. Then after sewing, this was what I have. Can you see? This is the back. Can you see how the back looks like? So what I'll do next is to bring the back piece. Just look at what I'm going to do. I'll just head over to my sewing machine and I will fold the neckline. Do you get? So just look at how I'll fold this neckline. Fold it by 2 like this, pin it down. Can you see? This is a sweetheart neckline. Just go ahead and fold. After folding, I'll do the same thing for the neckline of the back. Then I'll go ahead and sew. After sewing, be right back. So guys, right here you can see that I'm done sewing. So this is the back. Can you see the neckline? I'm gonna head to sew this, and I did the same thing for the front. So this is a sweetheart neckline. Can you see that the sweetheart neckline is still very curvy like it was when I cut it out? So for the back, right now, just hold it down in place like this, right side facing each other. I'll go ahead and fix my zipper. Can you see? But before then, I will just fold the down part here by 2. Then I'll just place it the right side facing each other. I'll do the same thing for the front. Then I'll go ahead and fix my zipper. So right here guys, you can see that I'm done fixing the zip. This is what it looks like. Can you see the front? I'm gonna head to fix it as well. So if you look at this zip very well, you will see that it did not start from the bottom. Do you get? You have to give like 10 inches space or 8 inches space depending on how big, or just give it a normal space then before you start adding your zipper. Do you get? So after I was done, I will go ahead and place it the right side facing each other for both the front and the back piece. Then after placing them, I'll go ahead to pin it down. Then after pinning them down, I'll just shape it, then head over to my sewing machine and sew it. You get. After I was done, I'll be right back to show you guys how it looks like. So you can see what I have here after I was done shaping. So the next I'll just go ahead to do right now is to trim off the excess at the side. I'll do the same thing for the other side, you get, because I wouldn't want much allowance. So that's why I'll just go ahead and trim it off, leaving just 1 inch there. We also go ahead and trim the side for the back piece like this. I'll just go ahead and trim it off. You can see now that it's an equal length. So go ahead and do yours like this. If yours come out this way, for the armhole, I'll just come down a little bit by 7.5 inches. Then I'll go ahead and trim it as well, so I can be able to join my sleeve, because I noticed that after I was done shaping, there was no armpit again. So I said to go down a little bit to create an armhole. You can see what I have after I was done. So guys, for the down part, I'll go ahead and fold it, then head over to my sewing machine and I'll sew it like this. After sewing, you can see what I have here. As you can see, I've gone ahead to fold it and it's looking so beautiful. You get. So the next thing remaining now is the sleeve. So I'll just go ahead and make the sleeve for the armhole. So guys, for the sleeve, you can see I already went ahead to cut it out. These are not shoulder sleeve. I'll just explain what I did here. Do you get? So for the upper part, I have 4 inches on fold. Do you get? So when you open, it's going to give you 8 inches, and I also slanted the armhole just like this. And after that, I have like 14.5 inches for the sleeve length. Then that is what I have here. I'll just go ahead and fold the down part like this. Then I'll fold the upper part this way as well. I'll also do the same thing for the other one, and I'll fold it by 2 like this, then sew it with my round sleeve. Can you see? So after I was done, this is what I have. As you can see that I've gone ahead to join the sleeve on the armhole area. So these are the 2 sleeves. You can see that it's looking so beautiful. And I also went ahead to iron this dress, just like you are seeing it like this. So for the bottom, I'm going to add pressing button to it. Do you get? I'll just go ahead and add pressing button. Now it's not a must you add pressing button. You can decide to sew the down part straight like that with half of an inch. Just know that if you're sewing the down part, that means you're not going to be needing the folding at the bottom. Do you get? You're not going to fold the bottom, you're just going to sew it straight like that. So you can see what it looks like after I was done. I just assumed that I added my press button. That's why I'm pinning it down just like this, so you understand how it looks like. Do you see? It's looking so beautiful. So this is how you go about making a bodysuit. You can see that I also gone ahead to wear it. So this is how it's looking. You can see it's looking so beautiful. So I decided to rock mine with my tights, because I wouldn't want something to be showing. So guys, thank you so much for watching. You can wear this with trousers. You can decide to wear with skirt, whichever way that works for you. I'll see you guys on my next one. Share and comment. Don't forget to subscribe.